I now want to talk about the communist revolution going on in America. And make no mistake about it, we're going through an early phase of a communist revolution. I know it sounds abrupt. I know it sounds unrealistic because you haven't read it in your local paper, but listen carefully. After the end of World War I, Germany was a defeated nation. It had been beaten militarily. Its people were starving because of a continued Allied blockade, and Germany was in shambles. At this moment, the communists took advantage of the situation to go on strike. The year before, Lenin had conducted a successful revolution in Russia, and Germany was the next target. The Communist Party of Germany, also known as the Spartacist Bund, staged massive street demonstrations designed to destabilize the government. They called a general strike in January of 1918 and filled the streets of Berlin with 500,000 of their communist foot soldiers. Eventually, order was restored because conservatives, centrists, and returning war veterans, known as the Free Corps, put down the communist revolution. Now remember, this was before Hitler's rise to power. These were not Nazis. These were ex-soldiers who didn't want to see their country destroyed by the red menace of communism. Now, let's think about who today in America fears returning war veterans. I seem to remember that returning war veterans were on the list of those to be watched as potential right-wing extremists by none other than Janet Napolitano, who heads up the Homeland Security Department. But who else was put on this list to be watched? Anti-abortion activists, people opposed to same-sex marriage, militia members, gun control opponents, people concerned about the loss of manufacturing jobs, those opposed to illegal immigration. All of you became enemies of the Obama administration. Let's go back to Germany, World War I. The communist revolution in Germany, where there were communist street thugs beating people up, only came to an end when the right wing stood up and fought back. Much later, a leader of the extreme right wing then appeared, and his name, Adolf Hitler. Unfortunately for the world, he was not a real conservative. He was a Nazi, he was a racist, he was a murderer. Let's be very clear. The conservative movement is not the Nazi movement. The conservative movement is not run by Adolf Hitler. But we need the conservative movement, and we need a conservative leader. We must not let the communist left, Boxer, Reed, Feinstein, Obama, Napolitano, determine what is conservative and what is patriotic. They are absolute textbook Marxists. They meet every definition of such. We now see a communist revolution occurring in the United States of America. The only thing happening is that the people themselves, the average person, without any leadership whatsoever from the Republicans or conservative leadership, are awakening to the dictatorship that is emerging under Chairman Obama. They are starting to appear at town hall meetings, and they're yelling out, shouting out, talking out, walking out, speaking out. Strangely enough, this is occurring without any conservative leadership from the political establishment whatsoever. To counter this, though, the communists under Obama are now bringing out union thugs to beat up average American citizens. I've just given you a thumbnail sketch of the communist revolution that almost occurred in Germany and the communist revolution that is occurring in America. This is the savage nation.